Load it up. I'm Tasis with me is Wolf, and this is the GSL Code S. Over here in the bottom left, using that proxy Reaper in that last game, he is
Startail Bomber.
Great defense as well. Really the story of the game is that scout.
Yeah. And in the upper right, this is his moment in Code S. How far can he go? He is
MVP Super.
So far, I've been impressed with him in this best of 3. The Blink Stalker build is a good idea. It's just that you have to keep it hidden. If it's not a secret, then it's probably not going to work. It's one of those builds that just needs to be hidden. If it's scouted, then it's basically over.
It's really about the element of surprise.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't know why he would go Blink Stalker after the guy opens up Reaper. I mean, of all the things that allow Terran to flexibly scout, is flexibly a word?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it is.
You can't say, like, scouting with flexing or something. Like, it has to be flexibly. You know, if you want to use
scouting with flexibility? Flexibility, I think, is actually the correct word.
Scouting with flexibility? Flexibly? I don't know. I think flexibly is a word. I want to say yes. Someone will tweet at the two of us.
Someone let us know. It's not a word, it is now. Urban Dictionary that.
It's like just about you and me on Urban Dictionary.
That's right.
We created it. We're the etymology.
Excuse me.
You're right about this map. It's hard to go late game because the bases... Yeah. There's not a lot of bases on this map, and they're kind of spread out from each other. It's easy to get harassed by drops, by weapons.
DRG played really well on this map, and I think this map's especially tricky for the Zerg because of the 4th base. Yeah. It almost looks like there would be 4 starting locations on this map. You know what I mean? Like exactly. They're far away enough from each other. But, you know, of course, at a closer glance, you're like, oh, no, well, 1 starting location's on low ground, or 2 are on low ground. That would be weird. But
that would be kind of crazy.
The way the expansions are spaced out, though, it would look like that. All right, Wolf, we got a little bit of downtime here. Terran fast expanding.
Protoss doing the same.
Yep. All right, Wolf, I'm a lot older than you.
You're a lot older than me.
I'm 29, and you're 15. And no. Well, how old are you again?
23, I think.
You're 23?
I keep getting confused with Korean age, but yeah, I'm 23. I'm 1990, so yeah, 23.
Yeah, 23. And we got a big age difference. And when I'm here with our toasts, we're talking about games that are probably just before your time.
Try me, because I played a lot of old games.
I'm actually wondering, like, what is like the old game? Well, hold on, let's talk about that after this Reaper gets in.
The Reaper is going to get in here, see the Nexus, and not a whole lot else, but he's going to see, oh, okay, you're not doing anything crazy, so at least he can take his 3rd command center and sigh a breath of relief here, because it's not going to be any sort of fast robo or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So just the 3rd CC here.
Yeah, it's all standard protocol from here.
Yeah, there's the robotics.
So what console was your generation?
Well, I played NES first when I was like 5.
Okay, wow, all right. So you actually had an NES.
So I was playing like 1945, you know, that crazy bullet hell game?
Yeah, I love bullet hell games.
Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers.
Okay, so when you were in elementary school,
I was playing like Nintendo 64. I was playing Star Fox 64.
In elementary
Mario
school,
64,
damn, dude, I was. Oh my God, I'm so much older than you. You know what's funny though? It's like when I was younger, I had some older gamer friends and stuff, and they were like Atari guys. Have you ever tried playing Atari games? I'm like, well, this is all right. Like, I feel like Nintendo and up is really where the games actually got more.
I played this Atari like classics game on my PC, like my Windows 95. My parents got it for me, and I played like Plaque Attack and Keys Capers and like pole position, but it just wasn't. It didn't quite do
it for me. Where I feel like the original NES was probably.
Those were the best games for me.
Did you know they had StarCraft on Nintendo 64?
Yeah, I played it once. It was terrible.
That is like
compared to like me playing on the PC.
Of all things to put on a Nintendo 64.
You know, they wanted it to be more accessible, but I needed my mouse. For me, it felt terrible to play with the control stick. That Reaper is dead.
That Reaper is owned.
A scan here actually reveals that he's getting a Forge, but not much else.
And the Robo. So it's just... Protoss is not going to try anything for a little while here.
It also critically revealed that an observer was flying out, which means there's no immortal push coming. So if he saw an immortal walking out of there, or if he didn't see an observer, he might have wondered about that.
And you got to keep in mind, too, when he sees that forge, he's thinking, all right, you're investing in Lake. Okay, he knows this observer's going to be here. He actually planned to get this observer.
Yeah.
And somehow it's actually going to get out.
I think he was concerned about something else, I guess. Weird.
No, that's the exact observer timing.
Yeah.
Right in this 7-minute window, depending on the distance of the bases. That's weird. Okay.
But we have actually Super doing about the exact same build he did in the first game with the timing of his Nexus and with the robotic support base. So he's sticking with his guns here. You know, I would have liked him to take the base actually to the north instead. Feels like a little bit safer.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, the ramp from the second is pretty far. But the other problem is the third that we have here, that we have a shot of right now, is also... The base is... This map's pretty weird because the expansions are hard to hold. They're definitely...
Yeah, it's uncomfortable to take a third base. You have to feel a little bit nervous when you do it.
Terran can abuse you with drops very easily if you're trying to defend that third. And if you have your main 2 well defended, they just run up into the third base and kill that. So now it's time for the gateway explosion here, as this third base is about to be finished. Yeah. Protoss very heavily upgraded, or focusing heavily on upgrades, I should say, but which is actually fine because there's not really any way Bomber can harass just yet.
Yeah, he's focused on those upgrades. He's getting his Twilight Council pretty quick again here for Blink, and this is going to help him defend any drop play. And you know, at further examination, I do like him taking this base at the 3 o'clock because there's no secondary ramp that goes into the base that he could attack by ground. I didn't realize that. So when it comes to that, the other base has 2 locations where you can run in from, so that's just a bit too difficult to hold in the early game like this. And there's the gateway explosion you're talking about, whereas Bomber is getting his scouting factory out here. And how many Colossus are we going to see this time? Last time we saw him go
5
heavy Colossus,
Yeah. And it was enough that the Vikings were not going to kill the Colossi until Protoss... Well, Protoss would have already won the fight by then, and by then the Vikings would be getting driven out. Now, this is an interesting move here, boosting out 1 medevac, or 1 Marine into medevac.
Yeah,
he may drop that off into the main, stim the Marine, and try to run inside.
Exactly. I think that's what he's going to do, and it may actually also alarm Super. If he saw that for just a second, he may think it's a full medevac and may overreact to it, even though it's only just 1 Marine. And I think it's exactly what we're going to see is the drop into the main with 1 Marine. And he's been spotted, so how will Super react?
Well, he's going to get there in time to see these gateways are all finished. And we haven't actually seen this used in a while. This was more common in Wings of Liberty.
You're right.
All right, so here it is, Stim.
Also uses the medevac for some vision as well. And now he knows the location of all the buildings. This is why he does this. Because he wants to know the location of every tech structure so that when he does a big drop later while he's harassing the third base, he can pick one of them off, like the forges, or maybe he wants to get the Templar Archives.
Well, you get these pylons here powering the gateways and the robo as well.
And one thing he sees is there's no Templar Archives, no Storm, so he's going more heavy on the Colossi. So that's a big hint for him here yet again. So he starts Vikings immediately and starts the +1 for Viking attack.
Bomber, I don't know why I called him Bomber looking primed for a win here.
Yeah.
Playing really well. There's a slight supply lead, but that's inconsequential right now. But I don't think these guys are going to be attacking into each other for some time.
Bomber has, again, this window where he has the worst tech, but he has the bigger army. And so very soon he's going to be gearing up for some pressure.
Now, a scan here would be good, because if he sees the Templar Archives is making, he may elect to go for the SCV pull. This is so common nowadays.
Yeah. And, he saw earlier it wasn't there, but that's not necessarily going to be the case. As of now it is there, but that scout information that he has is now dated, so a scan, like you said, would be a good way to tell. Especially if you see it building, that's when you know exactly the timing of how Windstorm is going to be there. If you see it researching, you're not quite sure when it's done.
Exactly. If you scan it and you see see it building, that's when you're like, okay, I have at least X amount of time to do this all in.
I think he might actually do it with 2-1 like we saw last game, and a few ghosts here. Army supplies right now not as big in favor of Bomber as they once were, though. Super has got a big powered up army now. He should blink away here, gets one of the units.
I always wonder what the hell this thing is in the middle, this square.
You know, I really like it as a map structure, and the reason why is because Vikings can fly over it, and it also gives you some room to work with when you're kiting against zealots and stuff. It gives you a little bit of terrain there, but I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is. I have no idea. Like the Protoss Mausoleum or something. Now, the Terran Army's moving out here. We don't have any SCVs pulled just yet.
I think Super's army is much better now. He needs the SCVs if he's going to fight this, and here they come.
Here they come now. Okay.
He needs to make sure the SCVs are at the front this time.
Yeah, he needs these to be in the front. He made this mistake before.
Oh, I don't know how well this is going to work out. Tasteless, he's got so many units, and the SCVs are somehow at the back again. And Super's actually like, oh, you pulled your SCVs, I'm just going to walk away. Why would I fight you here?
Exactly.
I'm going to get more upgrades, I'm going to get more units, I'm going to walk away.
Scan here, the observer, oh my god, just barely out of the way. And the battle has begun. And the SCVs, he is kiting very nicely here with the infantry. The SCVs are now coming up to the front. This is a lot of Colossi, though. He is chasing him back. More Zealots being called in, but they are getting vaporized.
Another Colossus to the right is out of position, but he does draw some of the Bioforces, and he saves it. This is so close. A few Marines left. Great shots on the Vikings. He's blinking the Stalkers back. Remember, Bomber has no economy behind this. This is all he's got. This is all the army he will ever have this game.
Now, he did win that fight, but I don't know if this is necessarily going to be enough to run the Protoss over, and that was a lot of SCVs that were lost. 35 to be exact.
The worker count is now 68 to 21. He's got a few more warpins he's going to use to defend this. Bomber may actually lose here in a crazy upset. He's got one more chance to make this work. The upgrades are against him. It's 2-2 versus 2-1.
Did he pull more SCVs?
He doesn't have barely any SCVs left to pull. I'm checking. He doesn't have any SCVs pulled. He wants to at least be able to train units across the map.
This is a critical moment here, and he's actually going to land the Vikings as he sees.
I like that choice.
Yep. Well, I mean, there's not much to shoot down in the air over here. He's fanning his army out now. Stimmy doing a great job, actually, with kiting this army. Again, the Colossi not getting there in time to do the adequate amount of damage. Look at this kiting. Absolutely beautiful. Taking out these Zealots.
It's really the upgrades, though. +3 armor is about to finish, too. And the attack just doing so much to Bomber's army here. Did not have enough Vikings in the first fight.
You know
now
what? Super barely held that. Really nicely done. GG.
GG. Wow. I mean,
damn.
He is playing phenomenally.
Bomber already out of the booth, by the way.
Yeah, he's...
Either that or he's invisible. I can't believe either that or he's a chair. Sickest chair, man. Oh, man. He's doing that chair pulled the SCVs. That was crazy.
That chair has got the sickest win rate. It hasn't even fallen over once.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
But, you know, that was... I feel like actually Super played the better games, especially in Game 1 and 3.
Yeah.
He knew the timings better than Bomber. He studied Bomber's play, and instead of going Storm riskily, which Bomber normally kills people, that's the metagame right now. Go for Storm a little bit faster. But instead, he goes for the more Colossi. Bomber hits the same timing, but it doesn't work against Super.
You can't pull SCVs against that many Colossi.
And they have to be at the front of your army still.
Yeah, that helps. There's not much they can do. They're not going to repair the medevacs in the background. So, in a big upset here, Super wins that first best of 3. Now, this doesn't mean Bomber's out. He just goes to the losers match. We got another match, though, coming up here. Our second best of 3 after this short break, so stay tuned.